Sarah, well, traffic nightmare is an understatement. Just check this scene out. You can see that traffic is still... We were here months ago when this area was engulfed in flames, and now barriers like the one you see here behind me. All of this started just 3 miles east off of Highway 111, but ended here right behind me, just inside those security gates, with one man losing his life. Restaurant owners tell me that they are happy to see cities step in and help, but they are still concerned about finances and paying their employees. And now we're learning that an intruder had an accomplice who police say fled the scene, but is being held responsible for his partner's death. Throughout the day, more people have come to join the demonstration. Behind me, you can see right now, they're all taking a knee for 7 minutes. Valley cities are doing what they can to attract customers. And here in Old Town La Quinta, there are some great deals to be found. Just behind me is where the new casino floor will be. They point out just because it says it's flushable doesn't mean that it is. The city was sued back on October 1st. The lawsuit asking for a reversal of the road closure that you see here behind me. And then tomorrow is the big shopping extravaganza. And here to tell us a little bit more about tomorrow is supermodel Beverly Johnson. Hello. Moving forward, county officials also addressed Blue Shield and their efforts to contract directly with community providers to distribute vaccinations. We're currently in phase 1A of vaccine distribution, which includes critical healthcare workers. Palm Springs High has been empty since March, and it will stay that way as students head back to school online the next few weeks. This is what you can expect to see on the streets of Palm Springs. Reporting live, I'm Nico Payne. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
The neighbor came and knocked on the door, and she asked me if I was missing anything out of my garage. And I immediately replied, no. And she said, are you sure?
But Sterling was indeed missing something from his garage, and a neighbor nearby caught the whole theft on camera.
Sure enough, the garage door was open, and my wife's golf clubs, which were sitting in the back corner of the garage, were gone.
Neighbors telling Sterling and NBC Palm Springs that this is not the first time thieves have hit the area. Back in June of last year, crooks stole a Porsche right out of a closed garage.
I was away for a bit of time. And when I got here, I opened the door to the house, and I noticed that it was not as I left it.
After searching the area, Dane quickly noticed his car had went missing, and that incident was caught on camera too.
I panicked, obviously, when I saw the car missing, did a quick walkthrough for the rest of the house, and saw that one of the closets had been open, and some things had been it had been ransacked.
Riverside County sheriffs are aware of the spree of crimes and are working on the case, but residents say this has gone on long enough.
It appears that it could be the same perpetrator that's showing up over and over again. So I would say, you know, this needs more attention, absolutely.
Kind of bummed out, really. I mean, it's, you know, on one hand, I was relieved that it was just a set of golf clubs, you know, had the person, I mean, fortunately the doors were locked. So, I mean, I don't know, did the person try to come in the house? You wonder that.
Now, Dell did get his Porsche back, and Sterling is working on getting his golf clubs returned. But in the meantime, Riverside County sheriffs are investigating some prime suspects in the case, and they say they are looking heavily into the matter. Sculpted 25 years ago by artist Paul Suarez, this bust of Cesar Chavez now sits in a place of honor, right behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
A very symbolic American hero who fought for the rights of farm workers, a civil rights leader, who now sits at the shoulder of the 46th president of the United States.
We spoke to Paul Chavez, one of Cesar Chavez's 8 children. He knew the bust was going to be in the White House. He just didn't know where.
We knew that it was going to happen. We had talked to the White House, and we had agreed to loan him that bust. But, you know, we didn't know where it was going to be positioned. And when as we watched the news yesterday, when we saw the president in the Oval Office signing the executive orders, and we caught wind of where it was located, we were excited and we were surprised.
Every president chooses the art they want displayed in the White House, and who they want to honor is often a symbol of the leaders they want to emulate. We spoke to local elected officials who tell us seeing that bust of Cesar Chavez is a good sign that President Biden will fight for the rights of immigrants and farm workers.
It's just a huge contrast to what we had to endure the last 4 years when it comes to the politics of people who have contributed to this country.
Seeing the sculpture also brings memories flooding back to Clementina. She marched with Chavez through the streets of the Coachella Valley and beyond.
I rejoice because all the suffering we went through in the 70s, in the huelgas, that we couldn't even sit in the park. We would chase away from the parks. We would chase away from the food stores. My reaction was, si se puede.
Si se puede, a motto that of the United Farm Workers of America that the Chavez Foundation hopes will live on because there's still so much work to do.
I hope people, when they look at it, that they see their grandparents and their grandfathers and their tios and tias and all of those people who have struggled for so many years to bring value to this country, that they view this and they accept it with an understanding that they're represented in that bronze sculpture.
Nico Payne, NBC Palm Springs. For years, the community has been warned about the toxic air coming from the exposed playa around the Salton Sea. Well, now we are learning more about the toxic fumes that can be coming from the water itself.
It is not just, the toxic elements that are being trapped by the water.
Frank Ruiz, who is the Salton Sea director with Audubon, California, has been working with researchers who have been studying the toxic levels at the Salton Sea.
UCR, was mentioning that it is also a concern, the fumes that are coming out of the water, because not all the elements, that come in contact with the water stays trapped underneath the water. A lot of the elements change form and they become fumes.
These fumes coming from the water, along with the toxic dust from exposed dry beds, have been the blame for many of the health problems the community has been facing.
We commonly hear a lot of nosebleed issues, especially with young kids. And we hear a lot of people complaining of respiratory problems. As a matter of fact, I think, in my opinion, we have, if not the highest, one of the highest asthma rates.
Ruiz and community partners are doing their best to bring awareness to the Salton Sea by educating our youth who will be inheriting what was once considered a desert oasis.
We're working on setting up some field study opportunities for our students out here. And so right now we're working with some of the community partners, and we're practicing playing with some of our science equipment so that we can bring kids out here next year and get them involved measuring air quality, water quality.
And though many look at the Salton Sea as a toxic wasteland, some people still want to experience it for themselves.
Based on, the articles I'd read, yes, it was quite the place to come, I think, back in the 40s, 50s. How can this be fixed? What can be done to fix it and restore it to something that can be used?
In my opinion, we already saw the better days of the Salton Sea, especially if you describe the Salton Sea from recreation standpoint, such as boating and fishing. I think those days are gone. Now, can we have other types of recreations? I think we can.
And as studies continue here at the Salton Sea, advocates stress the importance of education and awareness within the community. Reporting at the Salton Sea, Nico Payne, NBC Palm Springs. Our sunrise is expected around 6:32 in the morning. Sunset will be happening around 4:38 in the afternoon. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, not much to worry about on our front. We did have some windy conditions that were in play for the past couple of days, but that red flag warning. High temperatures as we head into tomorrow. 94 degrees for Cabazon, still hitting those triple digits here in Palm Springs at 103, 102 in Palm Desert, and 101 in Indio. We will see 94 degrees on Monday and into Tuesday, continuing into Wednesday, getting a little warmer at 95 degrees there. Thursday is going to be our hottest day on tap, 96 degrees there. But then look, as we head into next weekend, you're going to see a big drop in temperatures. Visiting the Palm Springs Air Museum on the 4th of July holiday was an amazing experience. Just being able to listen to these combat war veterans tell their stories, and then later see these planes just take off into the skies over the Coachella Valley. It was just an experience that I won't forget. Being at the Air Museum and surrounded with so much culture and history definitely made working on the holiday worth it.
NBC Palm Springs, where the reporting is the difference.